Good morning, good morning, good morning. What's going on, everybody? Showing up the King here, and I'm here to do my review for Young Justice episode 4. It's a lot of stuff to cover again, so let's get into it. All right, so the episode opens up with a robbery, and the robbery is actually foiled by none other than Red Arrow. Now, for those who are not familiar, Red Arrow had a little bit of trouble, I'll say, last season. He found out he was a clone. No, first he betrayed the Justice League. He was the one that was the leak. And then on he planted the tech bugs in the main members of the Justice League, and then on top of that, he found out he was a clone. So there's a lot of issues going on with Red Arrow, and you can clearly see that going on into this episode. I mean, he's not as bulky as he used to be. He's literally lost weight. He honestly looks like a crackhead, and he's looking for a fix. But no, he's still trying to be a superhero. He stops the robbers, and actually, in the process, he steals some of the money and gives the rest of it back to the original shop owner. Green Arrow from a rooftop above notices this, and he follows Red Arrow to once again try to, stop him from going down this destructive path. So they catch up with him, and not only is it Green Arrow there, we have the Guardian, who, as a matter of fact, also found out that he was a clone. We have Nightwing. By the way, Nightwing is so awesome. I'm so glad Nightwing is in this series right now. Then we also have the missing other member from the team from last season, from the 5 years. We have Kid Flash. So Kid Flash is back, people. He's not dead. He has not assumed the mantle of the regular Flash. He is no longer being a superhero at all. So, that's another mystery solved, with more questions, of course. So basically, they're doing some sort of like intervention, and it's almost funny. I almost want to enter that clip of that guy that's like, ah, but no, I'm not going to do that. So anyway, they are trying to talk him down, trying to make him understand that we all look for him, the original Red Arrow for Speedy. We all look for Speedy for the past 5 years, and no one's been able to find him because he's dead. Their purpose was once they're done with the source material, they get rid of it. But as we know, Speedy is still alive because they at the end of the last season they showed him in the tube, and it looks like he just lost an arm. So he is still very much alive, but they don't know that. So they're trying to talk him down and try to get him back into shape. But that's just one segment of the show that's going on. And the other part of the show is Superboy. He's taking his own night off as well, so to speak. He is at the training facility, and he's still seeing Miss Martian with her new boyfriend, and it's still bothering him, as you can clearly see. Even though he's the one that broke up with her, but I'm pretty sure there's something going on with her. I'm pretty sure she's going to be a major villain or something's going on with her. By the way, she's mind wiping all those Croatians, so she's definitely not the same Megan from season 1. So I'll be interested in seeing how that also develops as well. So he decides to take Blue Beetle out on a mission together, and he's taking Ship, and then he's taking his little wolf dog as well. So they actually end up going off, and they're tracking two members of Inner Gang. And I actually thought that was kind of cool, because usually Inner Gang are just members that you would see on the Superman, the animated series show. And it's good to see that these guys are back, and they're still, doing they always get their hands on the greatest tech. So again, whenever you hear about Inner Gang, you hear about their tech, and you hear about Apocalypse. So, it's all in the mix. So hopefully we'll see all these guys come into play, but mostly it's about the energy beast that the original 6 Justice League members defeated. Inner Gang has found a way to waken them up, and they all form together to become some sort of golem. And so they become a golem, and they start, rampaging through the city. And most of the episode is about Superboy and Blue Beetle. You find a little bit more about Blue Beetle. Like, most of us already knew when he was talking to himself that he was actually talking to his suit. Like, I don't think anybody watching didn't know that he was talking. Everyone knew he was talking to his suit. But I guess they just wanted to be more clear, so they explained to you finally that Blue Beetle's suit is a part of him. It's attached to his spine, and he's talking to him. So that's the whole deal with that. That's why he's always talking to himself, quote unquote. So, I'm not going to go over too much the whole Superboy uh, Energy Golem fight, because I think it was just more of a filler thing for there to add some sort of action into the episode. It was cool, but, the best part of the episode itself happened within the last 5 minutes, because we find out that Kid Flash and Artemis are still an item, which is awesome because everyone thought that Artemis had somehow died or had turned to the other side. I wasn't sure. I didn't have an opinion either way because, again, I didn't know where they were going to go in the direction, and I didn't want to speculate. But it looks like, both of them had quit the superhero business and they're a couple, and that's actually pretty awesome. I love seeing them together in their apartment together, and apparently it's Valentine's Day, and he didn't forget, and she got him food. And Artemis is hot. She was looking pretty good. So, I mean, if I was Kid Flash, I'd be like, look, I'll give it up for you too. So, they're together, and that's awesome. And then we get even more news because what ends up happening is they shift across town after they have spoken with Red Arrow, and he is not interested in coming back to the league and training and getting himself back together. He goes back to his apartment, and he looks to me like he was looking for a fix. And then all of a sudden, come to find out that Artemis' older sister and Red Arrow are married. I was like, what the hell? Where did that come from? So they're married, and even worse than that, they have a freaking kid. So Red Arrow has a kid. I don't know if this is really his kid, or maybe it's just some way that she used to get him motivated. I don't know. I don't think any woman would do that, and I don't think the writers would write that up. So I'm assuming it really is his kid. So I'm assuming that that's going to be the motivation he needs to get back in the game and try to do his best to become a good role model for his I think it's a girl, so I think it's his daughter. Maybe it was a boy. I don't know. You guys can actually tell me. I can't remember exactly. But one other thing I did want to talk about, there was a shadowy figure that was moving behind the scenes, because with the whole Superboy and Blue Beetle, at the moment where they are actually able to communicate with the energy golem, there was a figure in the background who destroyed it. I have a strong suspicion on who I think it is. Maybe you guys can also, get into the conversation. I think it's one of two people. Number one, my biggest guess is I think it's Cyborg. I really do think it's Cyborg. The voice, it sounds really robotic. It's very deep. I'm really thinking it's Cyborg. The only other person it could be is going to be Metallo. But if it's Metallo, that's more of a Superman angle, so I'm kind of straying away from that. But because it's Superboy in the situation, it could still be Metallo. So at this moment, I'm going to go with either Cyborg or Metallo, one of the two. Now, the only reason why people may disagree with me when I say Cyborg is because Cyborg's supposed to be a good guy. Who knows how they actually want to introduce him into the season? He could be a bad guy. Maybe there's something going on with his circuitry. Who knows? But either it's going to be, for me, I even feel like it's either Cyborg or it's Metallo. But again, I definitely want to know what you guys thought about this episode. Overall, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Not as action-packed as last episode, but you know what? I still really appreciate the episode itself in general because it answered a lot of questions. It answered all the rest of the questions. So there shouldn't be anybody else out there, ranting and raving about what happened in the last 5 years, because now you know. Unless there was any other question that you were missing out on. We all know what happened to all the missing members. We may not be happy with their new direction, but again, it's still very early into this season, so there's still a lot of time to answer the rest of these questions. So again, that's it for me this week on this episode. Stay tuned. My Avatar Legend of Korra review will be coming up shortly. But again, let me know what you guys thought about this episode. Who do you think that shadowy figure at the end of the episode was that destroyed the energy golem? I want to know your thoughts below. Thumbs up again for Young Justice. And also, if you guys like, just go ahead and subscribe to my videos. This is Showing Off the King. You guys have an awesome day.